Scott, everyone I know has plans to spend the holiday, the Thanksgiving holiday, with family. So many people went without it in the past. I'm not talking about huge blowout parties, maybe, but I don't know a single person who isn't planning on spending at least some part of this Thanksgiving weekend with their extended family. Should we be concerned about that, or should we feel pretty good?
Look, I think it could be done safely. The reality is the boosters are our best opportunity in the near term to put more immunity into the population and protect those settings. This, I think, was a big missed opportunity, the mixed messaging around this. Now there seems to be a broad consensus around the benefits of boosters. But when this was first raised in July, based on the Israeli data, there was a lot of resistance in the public health community to the idea of pursuing boosters. When, Pfizer first started to pursue an application and started to do a study looking at the benefits of 3 doses versus 2 doses. Now it's quite apparent from multiple studies. And the effects of the boosters can be almost immediate. If you are someone who has declining immunity, you only have about 40% of your protection left against symptomatic disease because you were first vaccinated 8 months ago or so. If you get a booster, your protection goes to 95% within a matter of days. And so if you want to get more immunity into the population ahead of the holiday season, the fastest way we're going to do it is to get more people boosted. I also think it's going to be probably easier to convince someone who's already had 2 doses of vaccine to get a 3rd dose than to convince one of the people who's a holdout, the 18% of adults who have so far not been vaccinated, to start getting vaccinated for the first time. Now, I know it's not an either or. We could do both. We have the resources to do both those things. But I think we're focusing on trying to get more people vaccinated who've never been vaccinated and not focusing enough on trying to get people who are eligible for boosters, who are 6 months out from receiving their last dose, a 3rd dose of the vaccine. And that could have an immediate effect in getting more immunity into the population.
Hey, Scott, though, but I think the question that I'd ask you is, right now, there's a lot of events happening indoors with the idea that people who are indoors are going to be, quote, fully vaccinated. Fully vaccinated today is defined as two doses, which could have happened, obviously, 6 months or earlier than that. How are you personally thinking about those types of events with either family, friends, or peers? And also, is there any, and I see a lot of people talking about it online, thinking about doing testing, either just a quick, easy Binax test or something before a Thanksgiving event with family or a potential, big dinner with, 15, 20 people?
Yeah, look, I wouldn't feel comfortable in that kind of a setting if I was vaccinated 6 or 8 months ago and haven't received a booster yet. I think people who are eligible for the booster should seek them out. It sounds like there's going to be an expansion in eligibility to simplify who can go get a booster at this point. That's the fastest way to increase your immunity. The decline in the immune protection offered by the first 2 doses is now consistent. We see it across multiple studies, so it's quite apparent. And again, if you go out and get that 3rd dose, you're going to increase your immune protection back to the original premise of the vaccine, the 95, 96% protection against infection and symptomatic disease almost immediately. So I wouldn't feel comfortable going into that setting if I was, vaccinated 8 months ago, 6 months ago, and have not received a booster.
Scott,
so that's one thing you can do to protect that setting. The other is to use testing.
Scott, you are boosted. Do you think about being around people who are, quote, fully vaccinated, but it's 7, 8 months ago differently than you do people who are, do you now say to yourself, I only want to be around people who are boosted? Speak to sort of how you think about those 2 types of situations.
Yeah, look, we can't do that, right? Because the definition of being fully vaccinated right now is 2 doses. Certainly within my family setting, people who are eligible for the boosters have sought them out, and I encourage people around me to do that. We now know that there's infection being passed among vaccinated individuals who have declining immunity. So this is one of the reasons you see a push by the administration to get the boosters more broadly distributed ahead of the holidays. They recognize the declining immunity. We're recognizing very clearly that there's infection happening among people who've been vaccinated a long interval ago. They're both getting the infection and spraying the infection. We're seeing bad outcomes. We saw the case of that nursing home in Connecticut. So there's a real push to get the boosters more broadly distributed. Now, the good news is that the immune protection from the boosters is almost immediate. So you could put a lot of immunity in the population very quickly by convincing more people who've had 2 doses of vaccine to go out and get a 3rd when they're 6 months out from their 2nd dose.